Yes, yes. Welcome in. How we doing today on this Tuesday? It's Tuesday, so that means we're here for Touchdown Detroit Lions over here on Syndicate Sports Detroit. My name is Nick Harkson. Say what's up in the comments once you get in here, and we'll get these things rolling. I see a few of you already going off. What's up, Donkey Kong, Super Bowl or bust? That's right. Rick, good to see you back in here as always. I apologize for missing last week. I was sicker than a dog, like one of the sickest I've been in a very long time. So I couldn't muster up, the strength or anything to get out here and talk to you guys last week, unfortunately. So I apologize for that. Hopefully it's out of my system. I don't know what it was. It felt like a way worse version of the last time I had COVID. And, yeah, it was terrible. I hope it wasn't the new X virus or whatever they're saying. But if it is, I got it out of my system and I'm alive. I'm here today, but yeah, enough about me being sick. I'm done putting that out in the air because it's done. It's over with. I'm feeling better, and I'm so glad to be back here talking Lions football with y'all this week. Yes, thank you, Rick. Thank you for saying you're glad that I'm feeling better because I am as well. But yeah, say what's up in the comments once you get in here, and we'll get this thing rolling. A few things, that we can talk about while people are getting in here that have happened since I've been back or since I've been sick that isn't much news to us now that we've known. But, the Lions re-signed kicker Michael Badgley, the Honey Badger. And what's up, Lady Lion 20? Good to see you in here as well. But yeah, the Lions re-signed Michael Badgley. When this happened, I wanted to talk about this last week, but we'll talk about it this week. I was kind of baffled a little bit that we brought him back. Not that, nothing against the guy. It's just, it's funny how we're addressing our kicking room. Last year we got rid of Badgley, brought Riley Patterson back in. Then we got rid of Riley, then brought Michael Badgley back in, and, didn't use him in some key moments. But I think that Dan likes to keep a guy like Badgley around just for an excuse, he's got that, well, hey, outdoors, Badgley's only 11 of 25, from 40 plus, go for it. What's the yardage? 38. I don't know. He didn't do too well this practice kicking from there. Go for it. 54-yarder in the playoffs at a huge moment. You know what? Kick it. I'm just kidding. But I think that Dan likes to keep a kicker around who's, maybe not a top-tier kicker in talent, just to have that excuse to be like, okay, doesn't have the strongest leg. Let's go for it here. Even though we all know Dan's going to go for it anyway, whether we have Prater back there or, no matter who it is. I think that the only kicker maybe that he wouldn't go for it still at those ranges is like Justin Tucker or something. And I think he would still be like, you know what? Sit back, Tuck. We got this. We're going for it. It's just my style of ball. I think that's just Dan Campbell. But, yeah, it's I just think that is why we kept him around just for another year. It's just for another year. And it wasn't for that much even. I believe it was for $1.25 million with $425,000 guaranteed to be precise. Yeah, so it wasn't that much, and we needed a kicker to stay around. Badgley, he knows Detroit. He's been here for a few years now, so not mad about it, but still, it's like, Dan, are we keeping him around for that reason? I don't know. But all right, we did do some other moves here recently. We signed Germ. We brought Germ back, Jalen Reeves-Maybin. And I love this signing. It was for a little bit of a pricier, contract for a special teamer. But I think he's deserved it. I think he's earned it. 2 years, $7.5 million. Some think it's steep for a special teamer, but, this guy is the best special teamer in the league. That's what Dan Campbell said today in his presser. And I believe that before that was even said. He's valuable to this team. Not only does he play special teams, but he got out there, had some snaps on the defensive side of the ball, made some big-time plays, got to the quarterback, stuffed some runs behind the line. So, he brings more value than just a special teams player. Now, what he does on special teams is tremendous. This last year, he passed for a first down, he ran for a first down, and he went down and made many tackles, just right away when the guy caught the ball, and helped us establish some field position. So I think this was a huge signing. Dan Campbell said he's a core guy. I believe it. He kind of embodies everything that Dan Campbell's about, everything that this team is about. So I like it. It's still, once again, not a bad signing for the price, especially because we got a little bit more money than we thought, just because the NFL set the cap a little bit higher. So I'm not mad about it. I think that he got what he deserved. And, if they didn't set the cap bar a little bit higher, he probably would have got a little bit less. Since they went a little bit higher, he got a little bit more. So not a bad signing in my eyes. Yes, for a special teamer, $7.5 million for 2 years. But he is the best in the league. He's proved it, and I think he's earned it. Dan Campbell loves him. And, like I said, embodies the whole grit mentality in Detroit. So, but yeah, Rick says it's a little steep, but price tags go up every year. It's part of the game. That is correct. And Rick, what's a kicker? That's right. That's right. Man, we do not have a lot of people in here today. That's okay. I missed last week. Not a lot to talk about. All good. I just appreciate the ones who are here. And we'll continue moving forward. Keep coming back. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Anyway, yeah. Another news that we didn't get to cover last week that broke for the Lions and that maybe we saw coming was Tracy Walker being a cap casualty. Yes, he got cut. Tracy Walker, 21 Savage, who I liked for the Lions. I was a Tracy Walker fan. It was his time to go. I think it was the right move. We needed to free up some cap space. Younger guys were stepping up at that position. Maybe they're going to bring C.J. Gardner-Johnson back. I don't know. Regardless, Ifeatu Melifonwu stepped up in a huge way and earned that role. Kirby Joseph, once again, had another great year. Well, a good year, and he's showing that he's improving. So, our safety room is looking good. And unfortunately for Tracy Walker, that means that he could be a cap casualty. He was. I wish him the best moving forward. Like I said, I was a fan of him, but business is business. And yeah, it's unfortunate for him because he was here before Dan Campbell got here. They signed him to be a leader and, really move forward with this team and be a key piece on that defense. Unfortunately, injuries happened, 2 seasons ago. And then last year, he didn't have the worst of seasons, but he just got outperformed by guys in the locker room. And like I said, business is business, and it's going to happen. But no hard feelings there. Wish you the best, Tracy Walker, moving forward. Now, with that being said, I think that there are going to be I think there's going to be at least one more cap casualty here or at least one more that we should do. And, other people have been talking about this as well. Some people don't want it to happen because he was such, a big story, not this past season, but the season before. But another guy I could see us cutting and getting some more cap room is that of John Cominsky, the commish. If we got rid of him, we could free up, I think, about $6 million in cap. So pretty good there to get $6 more million. And, I nothing against the commish, but he didn't have the best of seasons. This past season, we brought him in to have a better season. He did make some plays there early on. I think that Atlanta game specifically, he stepped up big time. That's his former team. Of course, he was going to ball out against them. But, Commish didn't really play up to par. This last season, nothing against him. Loved what he did the season before and the plays that he did make this last year. But I think that's another guy that we could let go, free up some cap space, and it wouldn't hurt the team too much. We did just bring in Betts from the Canadian League. Maybe they see him playing that role that Kamitsky played and for a lot less money. I think actually Matthew Betts, he's on a 1-year contract worth only $795,000. So he's not even hitting the million mark yet. So if he can produce if he could do what John Kamitsky did for us and we can cut Kamish, get some more cap space, then, that's a huge turnaround right there. And like I said, I like Kamitsky too, but business is business, and I think he's another one that we could see let go. I do see a few people commenting over here, so I'm going to see what's up with you right now. Rick says, saw that coming. Writing was already on the wall. Good luck, Tracy Walker. Yes, it was on the wall, and I think the same with Kamitsky is right there. I think that he's another one that people see it coming, and it could happen, but, they haven't done it yet. They already let Tracy Walker go. Last year, I thought, Vaitai was definitely going to be a cap casualty. We're going to free up some space. I think we should have, because look what happened. He got hurt. He was out the whole entire year. But, who knows? Maybe they aren't going to release Kamitsky or cut him to free up some space. But, yeah, Lady Lion says we should say goodbye to Will Harris. I agree. Now, let's see what will he cost us? Will he cost us some money to get rid of him? I'm not sure. He might cost us. But I'm with you on saying bye to Will Harris. I don't know why I'm not seeing his name right here when I'm looking. But anyways, no, I agree 100%. I think it's Will's time. I think that we can definitely, pick up that piece in the draft. I think that, Brian Branch, if he can stay healthy, he plays that role now, and he's so much better than Will Harris. Yeah, I agree 100%. Will Harris, your time is up. You stuck around too long. I don't know how you've been here this long already. Oh, Will is a free agent. That is why. So don't bring him back. Don't bring Will back. It's time to just say goodbye. Yes, thank you, Donkey Kong. My mind is not here today. This is going to be more of a chat than anything. I'm coming off of a sickness, so thank you, Donkey Kong, for correcting me. I need you guys. I need y'all here to keep me in check. But I think that they like Will. They have liked Will. They kind of say that he's, a Dan Campbell guy. I've never saw that. I don't know why. Maybe he's gritty. Maybe he is. I don't know. But Will, I just think it's time to let him walk. I don't know where he's going to walk to. He's been here long enough. He's stuck around long enough. But, I would not be shocked if they kept him around. I think they like him. Will says, I can bet they will re-sign Will because we all hate him. Exactly. Yeah, no, that's the truth. And maybe that's why I was already here. Like, where's Will? Because I expected him to already be re-signed. No, I don't know. I messed that up. But, yeah. Rick says Will Harris has naked pics of Brad Holmes. He's not going anywhere. Oh, man, he's got something. He's got some kind of dirt on the Lions because, yeah, he's stuck around for way, way, way too long. I just hope this is the year they let him walk. He's not a bad depth piece, but, there's better out there. There's way better out there that I feel like we could sign and bring back for a cheaper price than Will Harris. I don't know what Will Harris is going to cost. I don't think he should cost that much. He didn't do anything spectacular, anything close to spectacular with his time with the Lions. So I hope we let him walk. But like you said, I could definitely see us re-signing him just for the fact that we all want him to go. And I think Dan likes him. I think he likes him. They've called him a Swiss Army knife. I don't see it. I guess he can play, outside corner. He can play nickel. He's played safety in the past. Doesn't mean he's good at any of them. He can play them all. He's real suspect at them all. But, yeah. Hatter's House, what's up? What up, fellas? We need to extend Will Harris now. Is what a crazy man would say. All right. I was like, you got to be trolling here, Hatter's House. But good to see you in here. Lions by 1 million per usual. Love to see you in here, though. But yeah, let's talk some more off-season talk. People are getting tagged around the league. I've seen some fans saying they want us to tag certain players on our team. Now, I don't think we're going to tag anybody. I don't think we are franchising tagging anybody. I don't think that we should. I don't see it happening, but I have seen fans, Lions fans on X, on Twitter, saying they want us to franchise tag either Graham Glasgow, Jonah Jackson, or Josh Reynolds. Not happening. And this is why we're gonna take a look at it. Look at the O-line right there. So let's talk about Glasgow and Jonah Jackson. Do you think that either of them are worth $19.9 million? These are what it would cost to, right here. These are the official numbers for what it would cost to franchise tag a player at their position. So I personally don't think Graham or Jonah Jackson are going to be getting that kind of money. Not for a one-year deal, at least. Not from any team, let alone the Lions. So I don't see us franchise tagging either one of them, although there are rumors that Graham Glasgow and the Lions have mutual interest in getting a deal done. So that's good news. You like to hear that, but I just don't see Jonah Jackson or Graham Glasgow getting that tag for the $19.9 million. Now, if you want to talk about Josh Reynolds getting a tag, definitely not happening there either, because look at $20.7 million to tag a wide receiver. I just don't see it happening. No disrespect to any of those players. They all three love them. They did great for us. Jonah Jackson was hurt a little bit too much this year. Josh Reynolds had that game, NFC Championship game. Don't want to talk about that. He was solid all year long. I don't see us bringing Josh back, though. Unfortunately, I hope that they do get a deal done, but I think Josh's time is up in Detroit. We'll see. I'm not Brad Holmes. I'm not Dan Campbell. I don't know what's going on there, but what I do know is I don't think that any of those three players are worth a franchise tag when you're looking at these numbers, specifically the O-lineman taking in $19.9 million and then wide receiver taking in $20.7 million. I just don't see that happening. I don't see Brad Holmes doing that. It just isn't smart to me, but see some comments going over here. Rick says he shouldn't change more than a Big Mac and fries. The fries are his signing bonus. They're talking about Will Harris. Oh, man, Will, I hope you don't tune into this show. Wouldn't care either way. But, yeah. We see you walking, Will, over here. Hatter's house, it would be cheaper to re-sign any of them. Exactly, yeah. We could franchise tag Sewell when his turn comes. And that's what would be worth it then. That would be worth it. I think that we are going to lock down Penei Sewell on a big-time contract, but maybe not this year. Like you said, we could franchise tag him next year. And I'm going to talk about something that has been circulating around. And I just saw it today for the first time. I don't know how credible this group is. They do post a lot, and all of it seems to be true. It's not out of the ordinary. They seem to, take stuff from other people. But they didn't put a source up this time. I'm still going to put it up there because it's a rumor. I don't usually like to do this unless it's like a very credible source, but we'll talk about it anyways. But Jared Goff, there's growing concern that the Lions will not extend Goff this offseason. Now, this is from the D-line. And then I put the whole post in here because this is what they had to say. After that, the Lions will focus their attention and resources on securing as much talent via free agency and the draft in order to win a Super Bowl now. Now, this is coming from the D-line. They didn't put a source in there. They did not put a source in there, but it's very interesting, a very interesting take there. Now, would you do that? Would you do that with Goff? Would you wait? Because next year, after this year, he becomes a free agent. Now, the Lions, I think, could franchise tag him next year. And if we go back to those numbers, It's going to go up a little bit, but 36.3 million. Now, if Goff has another Pro Bowl caliber season, he's probably going to be asking for 60 million next year, where we could extend him this year, maybe get him for 45, 50. I don't know. I don't know what Goff's asking. That's between him, his agent, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, all them. But that's an interesting take, Instead of extending Goff this year and spending money on him, go out and spend a lot more money on, other talent elsewhere to help us fill some holes and to win a Super Bowl now. And then maybe franchise tag Goff the year afterwards. But I also did see today at the Combine, Dan Campbell in his presser saying that, you can win football with Jared Goff in the NFL, and he doesn't see that. It's not that way with every quarterback, and not even close to, a lot of quarterbacks. It's a rare thing to happen in the NFL, and Dad Holmes. I meant to say Dan Campbell. But hey, Dad Holmes, Brad Holmes, whatever. Anyways, Dan Campbell, he was saying that he likes Goff and he's glad that he's here. So I do see him getting a deal done, but it's an interesting take to see that. And to me personally, if they've had the talks with him and they're like, hey, look we have this money this year, we can get a deal done with you next year. Just hang tight. We know you're going to be a free agent, but we can make things happen for you next year. This year, we're going to go out and we're going to acquire as much talent as possible to win this Super Bowl. We need somebody on the other side of Hutch. We need to fill some holes there in the DB room. I'm wondering if they've had this talk with him and how he would feel about that. But how do you guys feel about that? Was that something you want to do? Would you rather acquire more talent, go for the Super Bowl this year, and, play our cards with Goff next year, gamble with them, say, hey, you're a free agent now. You want to come back to Detroit or you want to go elsewhere? Because, if we win the Super Bowl this year, then you can pay the man as much as you want, or you don't have to pay him at all. We can just be like, okay, it's future time. We got our Super Bowl. We got a squad still. We can let Goff walk and maybe Hendon Hooker time. But, it's an interesting take. I personally, right now, off the top of my head, I'm not against it by any means. I would like to go out and use our money to get as many, big time, big fish out there as we can. I don't see Brad Holmes doing that. But he also was asked this past week if, now that we have more cap room, he was asked about the cap room in the Lions and what their plans are to do with it. And, he did say he was going to stick to his guns. The plan was going to stay the same. They want to win December. They don't want to win March. But he did also mention that, with the cap space, that maybe they can go out and get a bigger fish this year. So we'll see what they do. It's very, very interesting, that take to hold off on a Goff extension, go out and get as much talent as possible to go out and win a Super Bowl this year. Because to me, it is Super Bowl or bust. I think that they see that. We were right there. We coulda, shoulda, woulda been there. We were up 17. My God, I don't want to go and relive this. But I feel like if we got to the Super Bowl, we are winning it this year. So, the bitter taste, that bad taste is in their mouth. They want to go by any means necessary, get back there, and maybe that's the deal. Maybe that's the plan. Lock up Amon-Ra St. Brown, $25 million a year, 3-year contract, and say, Goff, you know what? We're going to take our risk. We're going to go out and get as much talent as possible, and next year we'll take care of you, baby. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is, but that's a very interesting take. I'm gonna come over here, and I'm going to see what y'all have to say. Rick says, this is going back, talking about Josh Reynolds. Josh is going to shop. He'll either get overpaid somewhere else or he'll be back on a cheap deal. I like that. Yeah, he is definitely going to shop. And I think that, if you can go get a big deal, go get it while you can, Josh. He had a solid year. And besides the NFC Championship game. But go get it if you can. I think J-Mo's going to step up in a big way. And I think that we can have guys who can fill that void. But yeah, Hatter's house. I still think we want Goff to prove it one more year, to be honest. Okay. And I could see that happening. Look what's going on with the Vikings and Kirk Cousins. They weren't sure which direction they were going to go. Of course, Kirk got hurt last year. I I don't think it mattered. Yeah, you know what? Crybaby ass Vikings fans. But yeah, they took a shot, and I think that they're looking to bring Kirk back. I think that we can have Goff prove it one more year, and we'll see what happens. But I don't think it's a bad strategy to go out and get as much more talent and try to win the Super Bowl. You got your guys now. Ben Johnson's back for maybe one more year. Who knows? But yeah, go get it now. Go get it now. Rick says Josh wants the entire value menu. Value meal. You're right. Yes. Hatter's House says, I personally want to trade him for some picks and roll with Hooker and invest everything into the defense and O-line. You're talking about trading Goff this year. You're talking about trading Goff this year and going for Hooker. I don't know if it's that time. I just haven't seen Hooker do anything in the NFL, and of course we have to give him a chance to be able to do that. But he hasn't even played a preseason snap yet. So I'm a little worried there. I mean, we do have Goff on contract, but you said you wanted to trade him. We could probably get a good haul for him, especially for the last 2 seasons that he's had. I just am not sure that I trust that yet. Me personally, I'm not ready to go that route yet, Hatter's House. I'm just not ready. I think there's a lot of excitement behind Hendon Hooker. I think he's got a ceiling out this world, but he hasn't played a snap yet. It's a little risky. Just coming off the season that we had, I don't want to make a huge drop. Quarterback is, it's a big time position here, and Ben Johnson praises Goff in a massive way. Says that not a lot of guys could run his offense the way that Goff does. So, it's a risky move. It would be a risky move for sure, but I'm not sure I'm ready to do that quite yet. Rick says, I'm not convinced on anything regarding a Goff extension until I see the press conference announcing it. Okay, and so, Rick, are you more on, would you like to save some money on a Goff extension and go and get some bigger fish out there like a Brian Burns, somebody like that? I'm interested to see. R1 versus J4. What's up? Good to see you in here. Where you get your hat, Sharp? Thank you. I got this a few years ago on the official Lions website. I saw it and I had to get it. Hopefully it's still there. I don't know. But yeah, got that during the Fatty P era. I can't believe I still wear it, but it's not cursed because Lions did their thing, All right. Mary Peterson, good to see you in here. Hello. Yes. Rick says, if it's under $50 million, I'd get a deal done now. If it's over $50 million now, it'll be $60 million next year. Pay him now or trade him. Talking about Goff. Yeah, okay. Very good point. Yeah, if it's under $50 mil, we got to get that deal done because it would be a great deal for what the QB market is about to be set at. There's rumors Dak Prescott's going to be asking $60 million a year this year. I don't know if the Goff had better numbers wise. Dak Prescott year, but Goff took us to the NFC Championship, which is something that Dak cannot do, and I don't think he will do for the Cowboys as long as we're around now, baby. It's all running through Detroit now. We hold the reins over here in the NFC, but yeah, if it's gonna be more, you make a valid point. You can't, business is business in the NFL, and our offense is set up to be high octane. But I don't know if it's Hendon Hooker time. We did draft him for a reason, though. So we'll see what happens. MSU Detroit fan, what's good? Good to see you in here. MSU Detroit fan also says, I'll be honest, right now, I've been seeing more Tigers and Red Wings talk than Lions, but I still support all the Detroit teams. Yeah, I mean, it's just because it's that season. Baseball is about to start. Red Wings are red hot. That game the other night, Patrick Kane coming in overtime, coming back to Chicago for the first time, getting the overtime goal. You love to see it. Even Chicago fans, I got a lot of friends who are Chicago Blackhawks fans, and they love to see it because Kaner is the man. Detroit's got a good one there. And I'm loving to see what the Red Wings are doing. It's hockey town. It's that time right now, but I still love the Lions. I think there's less hype around the Lions this year Because we don't care as much about the draft. I think we do all care about the draft and free agency, but we had a great regular season and a great postseason. It should have, could have, would have, went further. I feel like we should have won the Super Bowl, but I think that just the hype isn't around the Lions right now because we're like, man, we had a great season. As Lions fans, you can go out there and you can talk that talk now. We can be like, hey, we got a good team over here. Look what we did. Where'd your team go? Only 3 other teams can say that they made it as far as we did or further. So only 2 other teams can say they made it further. So yeah, I just think that there's less talk about the Lions right now because we're sitting pretty. We got a good thing going on over here in Detroit with the Lions. So that's the only reason why I see less talk about the Lions. We're kind of coming down off of that big high. It was huge. It was a great season. So that's the only reason why I see there's less talk about the Lions right now. And plus it's hockey season, baseball season's right around the corner. Nobody's talking about the Pistons, even though they did get screwed the other night. Last night, I believe, yeah. All right. Hatter's House. If CJ Stroud can do it, Hooker can with this O-line. Okay, good point there. I don't know if Hooker is CJ Stroud caliber, but, they were saying if Hooker never – yeah, I think he is. He's on our team. I can't be hating on Hooker like that. Come on, man. But they are saying that if he didn't tear his ACL in college, that he might have been the quarterback that would go number 1. Now, there's that argument. He's 26 years old already, so get him in there now, I guess, right? All right. Lady Lion, it's not Hooker time. See? We got 2 sides of the fence here. And if you were to ask people outside of Detroit, because I do it all the time, I just want to see what other fan bases think. I've been asking, Lions fans over here think that it's time to trade Goff, let Hendon Hooker have his time, and, move forward with him. And they all think that Lions fans are crazy who think that. I'm not calling you crazy. I'm telling you what fans of other teams think, and I don't care about them either. It's Detroit versus everybody. Who cares, right? Who cares what these other people think? But I will tell you that people outside of Detroit sports think that Lions fans who think that we should get rid of Goff and move forward with Hendon Hooker, they think they're crazy. They think those fans are crazy because they think that they would kill to have a quarterback like Goff right now. So, just recognize what we got. Recognize what we got right now. We got a quarterback who can run an offense. Now, I do think that there are other quarterbacks who can come in here, maybe run the offense a little more efficient, but I'm not going to hate on my quarterback. Goff's my quarterback, and I think him and Ben Johnson have a great thing going on. I think Goff is a lot smarter than a lot of people give him credit for. So even though he might look the whole part sometimes, but I love Goff. Sorry that I said that, but at the same time, I'm not a Goff stan. Wouldn't break my heart to see him go, but I don't think that's the move right now. I'm with you, Lady Lion. I'm with you. MSU Detroit fan. I'm definitely interested in Hendon Hooker, but with Goff having that amazing season, it's hard to want to see Hooker besides for the preseason games. Yeah, and that's where I'm at. Like yeah, when we drafted Hooker, I was like, man, okay, this is the future. He's mobile. Like, he's got a strong arm. Like, I was excited for him. But then, Goff comes out here and he's like, hold on, Rook. Hold on, young buck. This is I still have the keys over here in Detroit. So it's tough. It's a tough move. But if Goff is going to want to demand a huge contract that's going to set this team back, then you got a choice in your hands. You have a choice in your hands. All right. Hatter's House says, or re-sign Goff, then trade him after next year. Talking about Goff. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of ways they can go here. There's a lot of ways. Rick says, not saying they should, but if they were to trade him, now is his peak value, and you do have a great point there. Coming off of a Pro Bowl caliber season, he was just a top 5 quarterback when you look at the numbers. Took the Lions to their first NFC championship game in 30 plus years. 30 years. So he's done great things. All eyes are on him right now. If the Lions were to say, hey, we're taking trade offers for Jared Goff, best believe we would get some good offers there. And yeah, you're right. This would be his peak value right now. Do I see them doing it? I don't think they're going to do it. But if you're going to trade him, you have a great point. This is the time to do it. Hatter's House, exactly, Rick. It's very hard to win a Super Bowl when the quarterback is not on a rookie contract. Yeah, and that's just the league, you know. Many quarterbacks have done it. I would hope that he kind of does a little Tom Brady deal, restructures his we give him an extension, but he takes a team-friendly deal because he recognizes what we have here. Now, is Goff that guy? I don't know. Maybe he wants a big payday. He's already had one. Maybe he wants another one. A lot of people say he's earned it. I don't know if I want to break the bank for him, though. Kolya, good to see you in here. Good to see you back. Hatter's House says, all I'm saying is don't want to re-sign Goff regardless. Let him play this year, and if he doesn't take a team-friendly deal, let him walk. I'm with that. I'm more with that than anything because I would like to use all of our money. Not all of our money, but use a lot of our money on re-signing guys, like Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then going out and getting a big name free agent this year, like a Brian Burns. There's other guys that we'll talk about here very soon who I thought that maybe we're going to have the chance to go and get, but now they're going to be franchised by their teams. But yeah, we'll get into it. I'm going to finish up these comments real quick. All right, MSU Detroit fan says, Detroit picking up former Chicago players, and they are doing great in Detroit. David Montgomery and Patrick Kane. Yeah, there you go. All right. MSU Detroit fan also says, too bad I can't put a Javier Baez on that list. Don't get me started on him. Oh, yeah, Javi Baez. Hey, yeah, that guy, I'm a baseball guy, and I couldn't believe when the Tigers went out and made that deal. And a huge deal. They gave him a huge contract. That guy is just all over the place too. I mean, yeah, we don't need to get on. Need to get on a Javi Baez talk right now. This is Lions talk. The touchdown Detroit Lions. MSU Detroit fan. One more thing. Pistons got screwed in back-to-back games. Yeah, they've been getting screwed, and it's a Detroit thing. We know what it is. It's Detroit versus everybody, not just with the Lions. The refs hate Detroit for some reason. I don't know why. Rick says basketball sucks. So, yeah, no more basketball talk, all right? Hatter's House. I love Goff. I just think we can get a queen's ransom for him now and use that for $40+ million to invest in the team and let Hooker cook. It all sounds great. It all sounds great. Now, will Hooker cook? Will he cook? We haven't seen it. It's the million-dollar question. That's why I think I'm with your other scenario where we keep Goff this year. Don't extend him. And if he wants to break the bank next year, let him walk, and it's Hooker time. Give Hooker one more year under Goff at least if we're going to go that route. I would rather do that than to trade him now. But you guys are making a very good point to if we are going to trade him, this is his peak value this year. I just don't see him doing it. I don't see the Lions doing that, especially with Dan Campbell's comments saying you can win with a guy like Goff in this league. I'm glad he's ours. He's glad that Goff is their quarterback. I don't see us trading him. I don't see it happening. As much as we're talking about it, I don't see it happening. But Hatter's House said it would be a Brad Holmes villain move. He won't do it. It would be a Brad Holmes villain move, and Brad Holmes would ultimately be the one to make that decision. I think that Dan would go in there and be like, hold on. But yeah, I don't see it happening. Rick, I'm not on either side of the Goff debate. I'll support my QB regardless of the name on the back of the jersey. I don't root for players. I root for my team. That's right. Yeah. There's I've learned the hard way, getting attached to players and whatnot. When I was a few years back, the whole trading Tate away, Slay, Diggs, and then followed up by Stafford. Those were all my favorite players on the team, and Patricia was just cleaning house. And I was like, what the hell are we doing? I was getting really upset. And from that day on, I kind of detached myself from players. Now, don't get me wrong. I buy my, I still buy the players' jerseys. I got a Hutch jersey. I got a Branch jersey. I got other jerseys of players who've been traded away. But I'm with you there, Rick. It's all about the team. And once you're off the team, then it's bye-bye. See you later. Best of luck. But it's all grit over here, right? Okay. And I'm with you. MSU Detroit fan, I'm seeing people saying the Lions should sign Mike Evans. What do you think about that? It wouldn't be a bad move. I just don't think that it's necessary. I think J-Mo's going to have a breakout year. I don't, maybe wide receiver is something that we need to address, but I don't know about going out and paying Mike Evans that much money. There's other spots that I think we can spend our money at, and I think that we will. Now, if we got Mike Evans, I'd be like, okay, the offense is just that much crazier. And it would, we should put up 40 points a game if we go out and get Mike Evans. But I personally don't see us doing it. I don't want to do it. I wouldn't go and spend our money on Mike. I don't know if Mike embodies the Detroit mentality. I don't know if he's got that grit in him. I don't know. Me personally, it's a no for me. I have seen it going around, though. MSU Detroit fan says, in my opinion, I would like to have Mike Evans, but Tampa is definitely going to want to keep him, and franchise tag him. But what he's going to want, and with J-Mo starting to put up numbers, should we both on getting him? Yeah, like I just said, and you made a good point about J-Mo. And the Bucs as well. The Bucs are going to want to re-sign him. I think that he's just going to cost too much. And I would not be upset at all if he ended up on the Lions, though. Don't get me wrong. If I see the breaking news, Detroit Lions sign wide receiver Mike Evans, I'm going to jump out of my seat. I'm like, let's go. I'm going to get crazy. But I just don't see it happening, and I don't expect us. Like I said, I personally wouldn't do it. R1 versus VJ4 got the love-hate with Goff. When he's on, we enjoy. When he's Goffle, hey. Yeah. Hooker hasn't proved anything for Detroit yet. So if we can get someone for Goff, maybe Russell Wilson. Ooh. I would take Goff over Wilson. I would take Goff over Russell Wilson right now. I think Russell Wilson would be a cheaper deal if you're looking at locking up somebody for years to come. But I would personally rather still, if we're not going to extend Goff, give him one more year, one more prove-it deal. And if he's going to ask for more, then, Hendon Hooker's had 2 years to develop under Goff. Then it's his time. But not a bad suggestion there. But me personally, I like Goff over Russell Wilson, just what they've done the last few years. Yes, Russell Wilson has won a Super Bowl, all this. Goff's been to one. He's taken the Lions to the NFC Championship. Russ does have a proven track record, but his past few years and Goff's past few years, I would personally take Goff over Russ. But I see what you're saying there. Not a bad point there at all. But yeah, and like you said, Goff, we're loving it when he's on. We are all loving it when Goff's on, and things are just running smooth. That offense looks better than ever, but he does always have a few games in the season to where, like you said, he's just Goffle, and he fumbles the ball too much. He turns it over. He throws interceptions, and you hate everybody's on Goff at that moment when that happens. It's just part of, he does it every single year. He's going to be our quarterback next year, more than likely. And it's going to happen again next year, and we're all going to turn on him for those few weeks. So I'm here to remind you right now that next year Goff will have 2 to 3 to 4 games, hopefully 4 the max. Hopefully 3 to max, hopefully 2 the max, hopefully none, but he's going to have those games. And we're all going to get frustrated with him, but then he's going to have the games where we're like, "Oh man, yeah, him and Ben Johnson are cooking, baby." That's just how Goff has done since he's been in the league. His first year was awful. I mean, he was a rookie. What do you expect? And then his first year with us was awful as well. But what do you expect with the talent that he had around him? But yeah, Goff is going to do those Goffle things at least for hopefully a shorter stretch than a longer stretch, but he's going to do it for at least a few games during the season. And I think every quarterback has this. I mean, Josh Allen was getting a bunch of ridicule throughout the season. He was throwing, he had the most picks as a quarterback at one point, but he had the most touchdowns as a quarterback at one point. So, it's going to happen. Quarterbacks, they're the face of the franchise a lot of the times. They're going to get the most, heat on them. But, he should have, those games where he was messing up, he did need to play much better. It was Goffle, like you said, but Goff's going to do that, but he's going to have more good games than bad games. At least he's done that in the last few years. But it's just expect it. Just letting y'all know. Just be ready because it happens. Rick says, waiting until next year is a huge gamble. You're either paying him $60 million or you're letting him walk. Yeah, you're right. So we're going to see what happens. And if those rumors are true that they want to take that gamble, then maybe the plan all along was Hendon Hooker. Maybe they're like, hey, Goff, you're doing great for us. Maybe he was all along the bridge quarterback for the Lions. Who knows? Brad Holmes is a villain. He's got that mentality, man. Nobody knows what's going on up there. So that could have been the plan the whole time. They're like, man, Goff, you are doing great. We love you over here. We're going to have you play out your contract with us. But, how we run things over here, once your contract's up, it's bye-bye and it's the next man up because we got that. And our offense is built to last with whoever's back there. I don't know. Maybe that's the plan the whole entire time. Maybe it's been the plan. Who knows? R1 VJ4, he says he wants 2 Super Bowls in the next 5 years. Who said that? Because I want 5 in the next 5 years. I'm just kidding. I'm getting crazy over here. But yeah, I'm not kidding. That's what I want. But who said that? I didn't see that quote, and I would love to. I love it, whoever said that. I love that mentality. But let me know who said that. I just didn't see the quote. And I need to go and see that. Russell Wilson said that. Okay. I mean, yeah, I hope that all quarterbacks do. And I'm not hating on Russ. I think Goff wants the same thing. I think that all quarterbacks want at least that. And with our team built the way that it is right now, we're ready to win right now. I think that the Lions to Russ probably look very appealing. He's probably hoping and praying that, that we trade Goff for him or something like that because our O-line is good. We're going to have to address some things there on the offensive line here this offseason. But, yeah, I'm sure Russ would love to come here. No denying that. I would rather have Goff over Russ just from what they've done the last few years. Goff knows the system. Russ would have to come in and learn it. Now, I know that the guys would help him out, but it's already just set in place there. Goff and Ben Johnson have a good thing going on. All righty. Hatter's House says, I'd rather invest in the defense, but Evans would make our offense OP. Yeah, I mean, our offense would be insane. It would be so good. It would be so good. Would we even need a defense at that point? Yes, we would. But I would definitely, I'm with you. I want us to go make a ton of not a ton, but the right defensive moves this offseason rather than Mike Williams. And that's where I stood. But will I be mad if we get Mike Williams? Hell no. No, I will not. Rick says, I'd still want a first with Russ for Goff. Russ is on the downside. He'd be a 1-year rental. Yeah, for sure. And that's why I'd rather keep Goff over Russell Wilson. No disrespect to Russ, but yeah, he's on the decline, and I think that Goff is playing much better football right now in his career than Russell Wilson is. MSU Detroit fan, when it comes to the Lions wide receiver room outside of St. Brown and J-Mo, what should we do with the other guys like Josh Reynolds, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Antoine Green, Khalif Raymond, and even Tom Kennedy? Well, one of them is going to have to step up there, and I think Josh, like we talked about earlier in the episode, I don't know if you were here quite yet. We think that Josh is going to walk. We think he's at least going to shop and go and try and get a bigger deal. He is a free agent. He had a pretty solid season besides that last game there in the NFC Championship. But he made some very clutch plays for us all year long. Now, will he go and do that elsewhere? Who knows? Because him and Goff have that chemistry. We saw what happened in the past with guys like, Stafford and Galladay had chemistry. Then Galladay went off, got a big contract in New York, and was a ghost after that. And so I don't know. I think that Josh is going to be gone. I would like to see us bring Donovan Peoples-Jones back. For that reason, I think that he was starting to get the offensive, he was starting to get the playbook, everything down there towards the end. We brought him in at the very end. So, didn't expect a ton out of him, but I do think that he brings value. I think he wants to stay in Detroit. That's where he's from. That's where he grew up. And it wouldn't be a big deal, like a contract. I think we could get him on a very, very good contract to bring him back. Khalif Raymond, another guy. He's a guy who I just love, and he steps up in big time moments. He's going to be there next year. He'll do good for us. He can kind of play that slot role. But it'll be interesting to see what they do here. I think that Antoine Green makes a leap next year. He was good in college. Go and watch his tape if you forgot about him. And I think that, he's a burner. He can provide some value. He was maybe a guy that, they kept on the roster all year long, but maybe he was somebody that they wanted to just get some work, really mentor underneath a guy like Amon-Ra and Josh Reynolds. And then he can step it up this next year. He's very young, so I see him playing a bigger role. But there is a little bit of a need there, right? Without Josh Reynolds being there if he doesn't come back. And Rick did mention if he doesn't go and get what he wants, I think that he comes back on a team-friendly deal. So if that happens, then we're fine. Then we're set. But I would bring back Donovan Peoples-Jones if Josh isn't coming back, and maybe look in the draft to get somebody else. But I see Antoine Green making a leap this year, or at least them wanting him to make a leap. But good question there. Good question. Tom Kennedy as well. I didn't want to leave him out, I guess. If he didn't have that injury there at the beginning of the season, I think that he plays a bigger role on the team anyways this year. But yeah, Tom Kennedy, I see him coming back. He's going to be fighting for a spot. But it'll be interesting to see where we go. Now, that's making an argument right there for Mike Evans, right? But I think that Mike is going to be too much money, and we could go get a lot of other, defensive help, defensive talent instead of a Mike Evans, not Mike Williams. Sorry. Good question there. R1 says, that was the Russell Wilson. You were letting me know. He says he wants to win 2 in the next 5. Rick says letting Goff walk and moving on with Hooker. You'd have 1 year with Hooker before you were in contract talks or seriously regretting the decision. Yeah, they're in a tough position right now. I'm gonna trust Brad. He says that they're gonna make all the right moves, and I believe that they will. They have their plan set in place. If they want Goff to be their guy, they will make it happen this offseason. They will extend him this offseason. That D-line post that I saw was really just to stir up some talk, and it did. It's not, that's a rumor more than anything. That's not coming out of Brad Holmes' mouth. That was the D-line saying what they had heard. But yeah, let's get into some other talk here before we get out of here, because we're almost at the hour mark now, and we've been talking a lot about Goff. But I want to talk about some guys around the league who are going to be franchise tagged. Now, I don't know if you just saw, but Ian Rappaport not too long ago reported that the Chiefs are going to franchise tag Snead, and then if they can't get a long-term deal done before the end of the franchise tag, they're going to shop him, like they're going to trade him, or they're going to go and put him up there, for trade. And Snead's not against that, so that gives him the chance to go out there, talk trade talks with other teams, and then at the same time still leaves it open to return to Kansas City. Now, Snead was a guy that a lot of Lions fans wanted us to go out and get if he became a free agent. Well, that's not going to happen. If you want him, we're going to have to trade for him. Do you trade a guy like Goff for Snead? To me, no. Do you trade Hooker for Snead? To me, no. So I think that Snead is out of the question now, unfortunately. But, because I did want us to go and get a corner, whether it be in free agency or the draft, and he would have been a good one. Another corner that people were talking about that they wanted the Lions to try and go get is that of Jalen Johnson from the Bears. It sounds like they are in good talks right now about getting a deal done, the Bears and Johnson. He's going to be going back. So that is unfortunate as well. I also saw the Ravens' young D lineman. I can't pronounce his name, but a lot of people wanted us to get him as well. He would have cost a lot of money to bring in, but it sounds like the Ravens are franchise tagging him and looking to give him a big time deal before the tag is done. So those three seem to be out of the question, and those were three players that people wanted the Lions to maybe go out and get. Yes, they were all big names, so it was kind of a long shot to me anyways. Brad Holmes did say, we have more money. Maybe we can get a bigger fish this year, but it's not going to be those ones because Snead will have to trade for. Jalen Johnson looks like he's going back to the Bears, and then the young D lineman from the Ravens looks like he's staying put as well. So unfortunately, those guys won't be available, but that's okay. Brad Holmes, I mentioned it earlier, he says that he wants to win December, not March. So I didn't see him going out and getting any of those guys anyways. But I do see him making some moves here coming up soon. I think we're going to re-sign some guys. I do see us bringing back C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I don't know why. I just have a hunch that he's coming back. Aaron Glenn is staying. But who knows? We'll see what happens. A lot of people say that he's not coming back, that they've seen him saying he's not coming back. I haven't seen that anywhere. But we'll see what happens. A lot's going to happen here coming up very shortly. I did also see, and I think this is a rumor. I haven't gone and checked it out for myself, but I saw that they said Chris Johnson from the Chiefs went and followed the Lions on Twitter. So on X, the X. So we'll see. But yeah, it's this off season is going to be interesting. I think that we need to address the cornerback room, and I think that we do that in the draft. I think that this year's cornerback draft class is deep. I think there's about 10 there that would be solid corners. Now, who knows how they're going to translate to the NFL, but to me, there's 10 solid corners there, and you don't have to pick one up in the first round or the second round. I hope that we do. But this draft class of corners goes pretty deep. So I trust Brad. I think we could pick up one or two. I think we could pick up a couple in the draft there if we don't go free agency, and we'd be fine there. So draft is looking good for corner. But I do want to see us, if Brian Burns doesn't get the tag, I would hope that we go try to make a move for him. He is going to cost a lot of money, but that would be a big splash. That would be a massive splash. And that would be something out of the ordinary, but would be something I'd be very happy with that Brad Holmes does. Rick says, I trust whatever Holmes does about any position but kicker. He has terrible history with kickers so far. Yeah, I mean, straight up. And we talked about it earlier. I just can't believe we brought the Honey Badger back. I think they like to have that, that, yeah, we don't know if he can make it. Let's go. Send offense back on the field. Stay on the field. We're going for it. I think they like that. I think it's an excuse for him. But yeah, I agree with you. I trust in Brad Holmes. Rick says Ravens got a lot of big names headed to free agency. A lot. We're going to bring back Mosley on a vet minimum. It's either that or the couch for him. Yeah, and I would hope that we bring back Mosley. That would be a good move to me. Will he be ready for come season once again? Who knows? He did suffer another gruesome injury after he just worked his butt back off to get back on the field. But I would love that if we did that. And, Mosley he was there. He was gonna be that guy for us, and I think that him and Cam Sutton would have worked out a lot better than Cam Sutton and Vildor or Jerry Jacobs or anybody. And Cam's got it. You got to give him the chance to run that, his true position, which is CB2. I think Mosley could have stepped it up. He did great things in San Francisco before he suffered his big time injury there. So I would love to bring him back, give him a chance, and I think it will work out. Good point there, Rick. Yes. All right. Hatter's House says Lassiter, cornerback in the draft, solid. Yes. There's plenty of them. I mean, well, let's get into it. There's a few, there's been some mock drafts. I've seen us getting Ennis Rakestraw, and I saw Mel Kiper, the guy out of Toledo, Quinion Mitchell. Lassiter, you could probably maybe get a little bit later, but yeah, there's, I'm with you there. CB is looking nice in the draft, and there's a lot of guys there too who bring that grit, who are not scared to come up and make the tackles. We covered a few of them 2 weeks ago. I'll cover them again here, as we get closer to the draft. But I like the cornerbacks in this draft. I think that there's a lot of good. You can go, whether you get this guy or that guy, you're sitting good. I don't think there's a lot of fall off from this one to the next, at least the top 10. So I think that that's the way to go. Bring back Mosley would be perfect, and draft a few, or draft one corner there. But yeah, we can talk a few mock draft outcomes here. Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network has us taking Zach Frazier, a lineman out of West Virginia. I don't know much about the kid. I did do a little research on him. He looks solid. I wouldn't mind getting that pick. I did say, and I have been saying, we need to address the interior offensive line. We don't know if we're going to have Graham Glasgow back. We don't know if we're going to have Jonah Jackson back. Frank Ragnow is getting older. I mean, he's still in his 20s, but the guy is getting beat up year after year. He says he's not retiring, but, I could see Frank, we get our Super Bowl, Frank's says peace, and then what? Then we're screwed. Who cares, though? We got our Super Bowl, right? But Frank's not getting any younger. Jonah's probably walking. I do see us bringing Graham Glasgow back, but we do need to address the offensive line. So not a bad pick there in my eyes if we were to get Zach Frazier out of West Virginia at pick number 29. Now, Bucky Brooks of NFL.com as well. He has us taking Brandon Trice, the edge out of Washington. Wouldn't be mad at that either. The kid gets to the quarterback. He has, he's is he a gritty guy? I don't know, but wouldn't be mad about it. I think that we do as well. The D-line or an edge is something that we should address here in the offseason. And doing it through the draft right there, not a bad pickup. And then finally we got, who is this? Oh, Gennaro Felice. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Pardon me for butchering your name, Gennaro. But he has us taking Ennis Rakestraw. And, yeah, I like that. And then, of course, Mel Kiper has us taking the guy at Toledo, Quinion Mitchell. But I like leaning towards the defense there, like 3 out of the 4 did. One of them at edge and the others going at corner. I'm leaning more corner in the draft, but it is noteworthy that Brad Holmes does not care what we think about and our needs drafts, because he mentioned it once again. He's going to address some needs in free agency, or the needs that he feels we need. And then in the draft, he's going to do his plan, and that's get the best talent available. So we can throw the whole, we need a cornerback, we need a D lineman, we need an O lineman in the draft out the window, because Brad Holmes doesn't care what we think. He's going to go for the best talent available like he always does. But hopefully that's a top corner or somebody that they fall in love with. But yeah, we'll see. Brad Holmes going to Brad Holmes. I trust in it. And it's worked so far. So, yeah. Rick says, got no draft crushes this year. No free agency crushes either. Just a lot of anticipation. I'm the same way. Like last year I had, my draft board. I was like, okay, we need to get, I was crazy about it last year going into the draft. And I was Had so much more that I wanted to talk about, and this year I'm just with you. I don't have anybody that I'm crazy over. Is free agency. I would like to go get Burns, but if we don't, I'm not going to be mad about it. But it's not even like a crush, nothing like that. I'm with you, but I am very excited to see what we do, because I think that we are going to make some key moves to get excited about going into next season. So I'm with you. I'm all about the anticipation. Rick says Frank deserves that jewelry. Let's get it for him. Yep. Yeah, him, Decker, all the guys. Frank in particular, though. That guy is a warrior. Just goes out there, puts his body on the line, like duct tapes his knees up just to get out there. You love it. You love it. Frank is a tank. The definition of Frank the Tank. But, yeah, so that's going to do it for me today, y'all. We passed the hour marker. We could have talked a lot longer. We got a lot of golf talk off of our chest. So love that. But thank you to everybody who was here. I am back. I am not sick anymore. And so I should be back here moving forward on more of a consistent basis. I just took the 1 week off, once the season ended. I was just overworking myself like crazy. I work overnights, but now I'm back in my routine. I'm feeling good. I'm not sick anymore. So yeah, we should be good. But I do see, I'm gonna address these few comments, and then we'll get out of here. R1 versus J4 says, or VJ4, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm addressing you, R1. It says, rumors circulating that Wilson may be released. No teams are interested in trades, so that's the only option for Broncos yet. And I don't see us going and getting Wilson, picking him up on any kind of deal. We could get him for a team friendly deal, probably much less than Goff. So I see your point there. I just don't see us doing it, and I would rather have Goff over Wilson. I see where you're coming from, though. I do see your argument. I see it. Rick, I'd do a backflip if we got MJH. But that's not going to happen, and wide receiver is not our biggest need. Yeah, man, if we got Marvin Harrison Jr., forget about it. Forget about it. That's all I got to say. It's over for everybody who faces us. It's not a need, but like we said, Brad Holmes doesn't care about that. And, okay, I'll address one more thing before we get out of here. No, we'll talk about it next week. We'll leave that talk for next week. We'll leave it for next week. But yeah, Hatter's House, Lions by 1 million. Draft 0. Lions 1 million, draft 0. That's what you said. That's right. We're winning the draft every year, per usual, since Brad Holmes been here. But yeah, it's been a great episode with y'all today. I love chatting it up with you. I will be back here next Tuesday, hopefully every Tuesday moving forward. The combines this week. Don't think too much into the combine. Brad Holmes, they don't care too much about it. They get their interviews. They find out who is a gritty Dan Campbell style of player. That's pretty much what the combine's for. Enjoy the 40 times, but don't invest too much into it. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell don't care too much about that, but enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's fun to watch. It's here. It's something football to watch, and we'll talk about it next year. Do not put that evil out into the world, though, there, Hatter's House. Extend Will Harris now. No. All right. I'm just kidding. Peace out, y'all. I am Nick Harkson with Touchdown Detroit Lions over here on Syndicate Sports Detroit. Till next week. Peace.
Touchdown Detroit Lions!